press the record button, Steve-O. Cool. Hey guys, how are we? Slippery here again with another video to do with plant-based system. Not the word vegan. Don't like the word vegan. Anyway, I want to talk about plant-based. Now, I follow a few people, Iron Cowboy, Rich Roll, a few others there that I, from time to time when I got a few minutes, I'll sit and listen to, and they've got some really good information on plant-based. Now, I did a little experiment. It'd be 2 years now. We're getting very, very close to 2 years now. I wanted to do an Ironman fully on plant-based. I wanted to train on it, I wanted to race on it, I wanted to see what I could do. It wasn't necessarily performance, it was more to do with, I wanted to see how well I'd recover. Performance would have been great, but that's alright. It was a bit of a difficult one. We had a few things going on in the main part of the training and lead up to the this year's Ironman, which unfortunately it didn't end up well, but we won't go into that. But look, I wanted to talk basically on what I did in regards to the decision, what I ate and what I trained on, what I raced on, and all the recovery parts of it as well. So I first made the decision to do it. I went, righto, there's something in this, because of listening to what other people have been talking about in regards to benefits in recovery and feeling better throughout the week. Now they talk a lot about inflammation, say your dairy probably being your biggest one. It was the more inflammatory response. So as you go through your training week, the inflammation that you produce normally, the dairy would actually make it worse. That's in a nutshell, that's what they were talking about. So dairy was a big one to get away from. So that was my real main one to dive into. What I was eating, you had a transition. So you'd bring yourself across in a couple of weeks. You'd go from basically your normal whatever you're eating into your plant-based system. Takes a bit of time to get across, and takes a bit of time to understand, get your recipes right, because you can go really what they call dirty plant-based. But it's really simple to do, so you can get a little bit out of control there, and you can lean a lot on these things that are like high sugar type things, and it's not so good. So it was a bit of a juggle to get it all right for me. My wife then came across a few months later, which made it even easier for me. So we now we're cooking for ourselves. The kids were still normal. We cooked 2 different meals, so wasn't too hard to do there. So training wise, it wasn't anything out of the book really in regards to really different. It was obviously, you have a really good staple vegetable diet, your legumes, that type of thing, your beans, a little bit of tofu here and there. Wasn't my favourite to start with, it was quite ugh, but until I had someone actually cook it properly, then we were right, okay, that's cool, but not too much of it. And that was pretty much the staple. A little bit of bread. I mean, I don't like too much of it, it can wreck you at some points, but just in the short term to actually keep the energy levels up, I found that the bread helped me a little bit just on, a piece of toast here and there just to keep things long. From a supplement point of view, I did rely a lot on spirulina. Now that's actually blue-green algae. We spoke about that previous video, if you want to do the search down the bottom there. A little bit of B12, but we found later on that the B12 was coming through your almond milk and all that, so we didn't necessarily go extra with the B12 supplement. But that was pretty much about it. We didn't go too crazy with the supplements, even though we own a supplement store. So that was one factor that it didn't cost us a fortune to do. We found it cheaper to run the family on that, so no meat, or less meat I should say, from our point of view. We're doing pretty much chicken, fish, steak, each night, across the week, previous to the diet. So we changed that, so that dropped the food bill a little bit. So it was quite handy. Training wise, in regards to on the bike or what I took training with me, sorry, I could go on forever, but I'll keep it quite short. I use a product called Vitago. Big fan of Vitago. A lot of people don't like it. It's a fractionated barley grass, but it's pure carbohydrate, and it runs through your system quite quickly, so it's what they call a fast gastric emptier. So it'll hit the stomach, convert into the bloodstream in the muscle quite fast, almost like a WPI protein if you're up to speed with your WPI proteins, but non-dairy source, of course. And also just relied on a couple of for racing, the small races, just a few gels and things like that. So it wasn't too crazy in regard to having to take coconut oil on the bike or something stupid like that. And I found that worked quite well. So that was a big tick. And everything seemed to sort of mesh quite well. Like I said, it's over time you refine things, you get things to work better for you, your recipes get better, things like that. So it was just a bit of a time thing to get through that. Ironman turned up. Look, I wasn't too happy when I was in the race, and when I was through it, I had a bit of a stomach issue about halfway through the bike, and that ended up. What I could figure out was just I over-carbohydrated myself too quickly. Stupid me was just, rather than looking at the watch, I should have been, rather than not looking at the watch, I was just sort of going on what I felt. But I was just a bit too ego in the first lap of the bike, so I had to sort of stop and recollect my thoughts there. Switched fuels as well, so I went from what I was using to a bit more of a Targo and a bit more gel, and that seemed to work quite well. And then we got through that, and then apart that, I pushed too hard in the back end of the bike and blew up in the run. Oops, as you do. You learn these lessons. I know that was number 8, but far out, you still continue to do what you think you can do. So recovery wise after Ironman, look, wow, 2 days. I was right. I reckon I could have raced again. I know you don't do silly things like that, but I reckon I could have. Normally, and this is going from memory, most of the ones that I did were Ironman racing was almost 2 weeks. The legs were sore still after almost into that 10-day mark. But this one 2 days. So I have to put that down to a little bit of the plant-based diet. I have to. I know my race wasn't as full on, so back end run I blew up, so I walked a little bit, so hence there wasn't so much of the belting of the legs, but still after that many Ks they still get sore. So kick. Interesting little experiment. So am I going to stay with it? I think so. I think there's a benefit there. Like I said, I had a few things happen in the training, in the main parts of the training, that sort of upset the things a little bit there, so I didn't get my full value for training in where I should have been. So not that there's no fault, that's not the fault of anyone. So if you're interested in doing it, and if you need a few ideas, hit me up. I think I've covered through most of them in regards to hitting the downers and trying to get the diet right and particular foods and this and that. So you learn as you go, and I'm still learning, so you never stop there. But anyway, I'll wrap this one up and keep it a little bit shorter. I'll try to keep them under 10 minutes, otherwise they can tend to blow out and people get distracted and disinterested. I'm going to have my coffee, and I shall see you on the next video, guys. Have a good one. See ya.